Chiron Retrograde. It's time for us to heal the past in order to move into this new future. Hello, my beautiful friends. I am Catherine Bachman, astrologer and psychotherapist. I blend those modalities in the work that I do on this YouTube channel with the goal of speaking primarily English. Welcome back to my subscribers. And for those of you that are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave comments and share these videos if they are informative and you know someone who could use this information. By the way, don't forget to check out my website, catherineastrology.com. There are free birth charts. I will create from your birth information a free birth chart. Don't interpret it. This is just for your information. And if you are at all interested in following the planets and what's going on in your own chart, you can purchase a intro to basic chart interpretation or astrology. I just want to also acknowledge those of you who have supported me since I started this channel, and for those who have supported by buying me a cup of coffee over the last several months. We finally got that working right. Today is July 15th. I'm going to be doing I don't know if this is my last video, but the last one that I will be talking about the astrology of the month of July. And really, the only aspect that's going on is on July 30th. I mean, the only major planetary shift or change is coming in on July 30th. And there is a lot in this particular asteroids retrograde. I want to cover this period of time, the 27th through the end of the month, and Chiron, the wounded healer, the archetype of the alchemical healer, the wounded healer, goes retrograde. And so he will go direct, I believe in January, early January, like around the 1st or 2nd of 2026. So he's retrograding July 30th. His energies are very much related to where we all have somewhat of a core wound. You know, we really need to look at personal healing and personal healing relating even to what's going on in the world today. So the fact that we are all pretty isolated, that we need to come back into community, local level, state level, national level. And how do we heal that? So as Chiron retrogrades, we're all needing to go inside personally and look at who are we now? It can be a time of grief. Chiron requires that we look outside the box in order to make changes in our lives that are going to help us. As we move into these healing energies, it would be good to just take a second and look at how much has changed since the election last year, and even over the past several years, the past decade. And where are we now? Chiron says it's time for us to go introspection, to look inside ourselves, to see where we're out of balance, to have a great deal of compassion, forgiveness, and literally physical healing can be facilitated in working with the planet Chiron. I've been following Chiron in my chart since I became an astrologer because I've always struggled with health issues personally. It's traveling through Aries and has been triggering for so many of us that we need to really look at how do we take care of ourselves, pull back inside when we've been so focused on trying to survive in this kind of wild and crazy world, and to the point where it doesn't matter how many jobs you work, you still can't make enough to provide for a small family or for a couple. Chiron says it is time for change. But it's also time to move into personal responsibility around those changes and how we heal what is going on at this point in time in our country and in our world. This chart is fairly conflictual. So up until this point in time, the last couple of weeks, we've had so much change come in. We've had all of these outer planets from Jupiter and Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. We've had all of these planets change signs over the past 6 months. The changes in signs of any one planet in the course of the year we can feel that shift, the shift of that particular planet's energies in our lives. We can see it, on the nightly news. But humanity and the earth are under some incredible stress and tension for change, for creative change, for outside the box change. To look inside and look at, who am I at this point in my life? And what's going on in our communities and our nation and our world, and are those our values? What's been going on in our world for the past year, it has been making many of us highly stressed, highly anxious, and very ill. Regardless of what's going on in the world around us, this is an opportunity since Uranus last week. And like I said, I'm recording on the 15th, and Uranus, the planet of shock and awe, who rules Aquarius, Pluto is in Aquarius, moved into Gemini. And that energy, I swear to God, I've talked with friends and other astrologers, and it's like when he went into Gemini, there was almost an instantaneous lift in the energy. He's been traveling through Taurus, which is my sign, an earth sign, and they're not too friendly. And Taurus is the earth. Uranus is shock and awe, can trigger earthquakes, volcanoes, shocking news, shocking events, accidental conditions. It also rules the internet and the media, technology, robotics, AI, all of those things. So very fast-paced change, and with a focus for the last 8 years in the sign of Taurus, of the power elite, the tech bros, those guys looking at, okay, we're not going to need, with robotics and AI, we're not going to need people too much longer to work factories and all that kind of stuff, because it can be all run and we don't have to pay salaries and we don't have to offer benefits and we don't have to deal with healthcare, and then it's just like really all pure profit, right? So these guys who really don't have souls, don't have hearts, have no compassion and no sense of civic responsibilities, really only see the workers as eaters and, taking resources that they could put into their pockets. So the shadow side of the Aquarian energy, the planet Aquarius in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is love, money, and values. Money being operative in there too. Property, possessions, beauty, things of value, art, and that sort of thing. So, but also Taurus likes a lot of stability. So Uranus going in and shaking up our sense of security for the past 8 years. It's been really hard on the nervous systems for Tauruses, for sure. So most of us, like I said, felt the shift of this planet moving into Gemini. And Gemini is like the curious child energy. They're perpetual teachers and lifelong students, that energy. And they love to share and disseminate and play. And there's usually comedians, great comedians are Geminis. So, and Sages, but, or they have those energies strong in their charts. As we have shifted into much lighter energies, there's more ability for us on an individual level to really see that what's going on in the world, while quite serious, if there's not much we can do other than to say this isn't okay with us, not in our name, it's a little bit easier to energetically and to some degree emotionally detach from what's going on. and to start to understand it's Kabuki Theatre on a global level, that we can clearly see that these people are, like I said, don't have hearts. They really have no compassion, no civic responsibility or sense of duty. They're in charge. They're trying to gather up all the money and all the power for themselves, and then they can kind of and I mentioned this in my last video, like Trump said about a week ago, oh yeah, slavery. Well, slavery is not such a bad thing. You still get to live, you still get to eat. And I'm paraphrasing. This is not a direct quote. And again, this is for entertainment only. YouTube. These energies and these people, have not lived in the real world for a long time. They've been able to lie, manipulate, cheat, steal, and or bully those in the world to meet their needs. There's two major shifts happening at this time: the end of the Kali Yuga and then the birthing of the new, where the Earth and our solar system come above the horizon to join the cosmic brother and sisterhood. So it is our time. Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years it is our time to look at what we're doing, and the violence and the hatred and the division and the greed and the abuse of the earth and all those things. Those are no longer sustainable. So what we are starting to witness over the past couple of months is, as the truth comes out, the lies and the propaganda are not working quite so well. People are starting to go, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And because they're going, wait a minute, it's important, particularly those who believed, who really need a daddy, need a system to tell them what to do, who have learned from their birth on to live in fear. These are souls that are really going to need support, because the veil is being ripped away. Who they are and what the world is, is being ripped away, ripped apart. And so this is the time for us not to be hating, condemning, shaming, those kinds of things, those who supported this man and this regime, but to help them come to a place of compassion, understanding when they're ready, and be there when they're ready to be able to shift into that. And that's some of the Chiron retrograde. I think Chiron's retrograding from now through the 1st of January will be a period of change, of healing change, as more and more of those who have lived under the deception of, the world governments, the power structures, the lies of those leaders, those oligarchs, the billionaires. It's like when we see the reality of who they are and what they've done in this world, then, it's the disgust and the shock will be palatable. Chiron, this little bitty centaur, this little bitty asteroid, is so critical during this process as we begin to move into changes. That can be healing of individuals, that can be healing of families, that can be healing in communities, and all the way out to global healing, including focusing light and love and healing energy for Mother Earth, because she's in trouble too. We are all energetically connected. We all vibrate at the Schumann's resonance. Humans and Earth are joined at the hip on the DNA level to some degree. So it's really, really important that we think globally and including the Earth as we move through this next 5-6 months of the retrogrades. because this is the time of redoing, rethinking, reconsidering, and potentially moving into the changes, moving into who we want to be as we face the shadow of the US and our shadow and the shadow of many other countries in the world has been one of lies, manipulation, abuse of the people, abuse of the earth, particularly those that became, that really embraced corporations and deregulation and those kinds of things. There are so much healthier solutions already out there on the planet and people ready to move into how do we restructure to do that? Because it is up to us. We are the ones we've waited for. It is up to the people to come together on a local level, county, state, and then have contingencies that go to the federal level. There is going to be a removal of this regime in the next few months. And I can't give exact dates, but when that happens, there's going to be a pause because so much of our government has been destroyed. We don't want to rebuild the old because once the corrupt Supreme Court created Citizens United, allowing dark money from rich guys all over the planet to flow in after 80 years of deregulation and changes that had been implemented. FDR was an amazing person. And there were subsequent presidents who also were able to pass some pretty powerful programs for the people. But, the theft of elections, the lies, the changes in our media that are about educating the public, because the founding fathers knew that without the fairness doctrine, then there would be people, the oligarchs would come back in and they'd start to lie to the people, to divide the people. And in that process of dividing the people, they could be in control. So, and then they could tell people that they're there for them. They're absolutely there for them. They're the champion of the workers. And we've had the two-party system. You look at the actions of both parties or the lack of action of Democrats to fix the things that the Republicans break. And they have championed themselves as being the conservative party with conservative values. And yet every time they're in office, they increase the debt by trillions. And they're the ones that start wars. It's like there's been so much myth created around both of these parties of who they are and who they're not, that, it's like we have to pull ourselves out of that and realize neither party really worked on behalf of the people or the environment. This is a very powerful time for us to reset, to rethink, redo, and recreate, to work on a local level with other people who want peace, who want clean air, water, and food, who want, global relationships and the ability to travel around the world. They want no borders. We are all humanity. And so the barriers that are being put up, and Trump and his people have done so much damage in such a short time, but then that's again the Hitler model, was make the changes really fast, destroy these different, communication, the media, get rid of the intellectuals, the elites in the universities. We all have access to history. Don't have to take my word for it. Check it out. Let's talk about the healing and what's going to happen for the first time in the history of this world. Humanity is going to see the truth, and we are going to learn the truth of who we are. And from that place, in the Chiron retrograde of the next, 6 months, we can make determination around who are we now and what do we want, and get clear about those things and begin to work toward them, to collaborate. It has to be inclusive of all. We aren't a country of immigrants for no reason. This has been called the melting pot of the world. And no matter what your belief system, you have a right to be here and to be protected. So from that place, all of us have to make those little micro shifts and adjustments within ourselves and start to think about that and start to heal it, and then start to collaborate locally, because there will come a time in the next few months where this regime will be pulled out. There will be a pause, and there'll be, to some degree, a governing group from both parties, past presidents, past generals, past whatever, who have proven that they care and love. There is a love of the Constitution, of this country, and of peace. So they can manage things for the few months it takes to sort everything out. And in this 6 month, and I do see this as being part of the 6-month period, that the rest of us really need to be picking up on what is our responsibility and come together in our communities to start to talk about this and what is it we want our future to look like, and for our children. Not just for us. I mean, I'm a boomer. I don't know how much longer I am on the planet, but we have the most amazing generations behind us that are coming up, and they're already pre-wired to love and care about the planet, to be communicating with each other without words. They're intuitive. They can do so many of the clairs, the clairaudient, clairsentient. So those senses are heightened, and many of them, have been communicating with other children consciously or unconsciously during dream time on the planet. There's so many of us that have come in to be part of the transition, to be part of the change. And again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are systems that have already been proven tried and true, like the worker-owned cooperatives, so that there's no more corporations, there are no more CEOs that take all of your earnings, your hard work, your life force. Every system that's out there that has been put in place since FDR has been manipulated so that it gives us less and less and less. Cost of living adjustments on Social Security, they've all been manipulated to have us be at this place in time where they have come pretty close to destroying the middle class. There's enough on this planet that everyone can thrive. There's enough water, there's enough land, there's enough food, there's enough. But, you can't let 0.5% suppress the rest, 99 point whatever percentage of the population of the earth, and abuse them, starve their children. Suffice it to say, Chiron retrograding is going, the majority of humans on the planet are at the point of saying, this doesn't work and we're not doing it anymore. We're not doing it anymore. And leading that charge are women, minorities, children, LGBTQ+, because these are groups that have been marginalized and attacked by the 1% and lied about in order to create this great divide. If you divide the people, you win. So the people are coming together, and I think that's what we have some more protests coming up. I invite all of you to go out, and they're not protests. I think we need to rephrase. Language is really important. because words have power. So let's call it an evolution. Our evolutionary parades, our parades of celebration that we are all waking up of humanity, and to say, this is pretty clearly not what we want. Here's what we want. This is what we want. We want to live in peace. We want to live in joy. There are plenty of resources. Share them. Educate everyone. House everyone. Feed everyone. Provide healthcare, natural as well as Western. It's going to be an interesting transition over the next 10 years, maybe 20. The next 10 are going to be the most intense. The next couple, we're going to start to see the hope. We're going to start to see the old break down. My message to you is to really prepare yourself. Go inside. Take some meditation time. Take time walking through the woods. Who are you? Why did you come here? What is your part in this transition? It's like grief is huge right now in the world. So do your grief. And again, put time limits on it. Truly limit the grief as you need to. And then go look in the mirror and remind yourself who you are. And know that in right timing and with the support of your guides and guardian angels, that you will get the message of what your part is. Energetically, what are you drawn to? And go there. Go for it. Everything is up for transformation and healing with Chiron as he moves retrograde for the next 6 months. Well, much love to all of you. Thank you for checking in. I'm going to be doing one more YouTube video next Friday, and then we will be moving. So I will be packing and preparing through the month of August, preparing for a move. And I'm going to then need to rest, and then I will begin the process, and we'll probably be collaborating with other astrologers that are showing up to be part of a team of healers, and we'll collaborate and then offer you the best of all of our information, because I do believe in team concept, and I have asked my guides and angels to bring my soul family for this next phase of my life to me, and they are showing up and in delightful ways. Take care of yourself. Know that you are a spark of the divine. Remember to breathe and to go play and have fun, to connect with nature. Get your feet in the dirt or in the sand, and take care of yourself in any and all ways that is possible. Much love. I will see you next week.